And that's where we start with our Newsmaker segment. Joining me is the superintendent of the Kansas City, Missouri School District, Dr. Mark Bedell. Dr. Bedell, welcome to Ruckus. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you, Mr. Shannon, for having me here today.
On Tuesday, Kansas City voters are going to vote on a 3/8 cent sales tax for pre-K education. This is something Mayor James has backed and wanted. You and other school administrators in Kansas City, Missouri have said you don't want this tax passed. And yet, I know you have also said pre-K education is valuable, something that you hope young children will have someday in Kansas City. So what's the basis for the opposition to the 3/8 cent tax?
Well, I think there's far too many that I can probably share with the audience right now, but I'll talk about a few of them that I think are of extreme importance. One, we're utilizing a sales tax. We talk about raising about $28 million a year. There's no guarantee that we'll hit that $28 million every year, right? And I think that's a major concern. I think the fact that it's an economic development sales tax, and anybody who knows what's happened in the Kansas City Public School District around abatements and incentives and tax incremental financing, we probably lose, or we don't see 31 to 35 million a year already. So we're going to take the last 3/8 cents, which in my opinion should be utilized to do some type of economic development east of Troost, where we have food deserts, where we don't have businesses operating, to help enhance those communities. But we want to turn around and use that to fund early childhood education, and I think that's a problem. I think it ties our hands as respective superintendents. It doesn't give us an opportunity to work locally with our community to go after a levy, which we think would go a lot further, but also continually give us the autonomy that elected boards were selected to do.
So let me ask you this: if the 3/8 cent sales tax is approved by voters on Tuesday, what do you do then? Do you turn down the money, refuse to implement the program?
Absolutely not. I mean, if it passes, I think the district will move forward just as any other school district with continuous expansion of early childhood. I think that the message that's out there right now is that districts haven't been doing anything. I authorized 1,100 tuition-free pre-K seats the first day I took this job. I also started one of the first regional early Head Start programs at one of my high schools, where we educate kids from birth until 4. And so we've been very intentional around expanding early childhood, and it's a part of our strategic plan.
What ages are we talking about in pre-K?
Well, and for us, our school district currently serves 3- and 4-year-olds, and we offer full-day services to those students who attend. The plan focuses only on 4-year-olds.
And what do you teach 3- and 4-year-olds?
I mean, I think it's at that phase you're beginning to introduce them to letter sounds, making sure that they can count from 1 to 10, understanding shapes, understanding colors. It
prepares them for later education?
The fundamental building blocks that give them a strong foundation as they then get ready to enter into kindergarten.
A few weeks ago, you were scheduled to be on the program. You had to cancel at the last minute. Then the big news was the district is on the way to full accreditation. Can you refresh our memory about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have worked extremely hard, and I love to give credit where credit is due. In our press conference, I credited 3 former superintendents for tough decisions that they had to make that put us in a position to where we were much more stable financially. It allowed for us to come in with my team, working with this current board, to really focus on teaching and learning, to just do the fundamental 101 things: rewriting curriculum, getting it vetted by the Council for Great City Schools, giving our people the right kind of professional development, making sure that our principals have the resources that they need to be great instructional leaders. All of those things, putting an instructional framework in place, all of those things have contributed to our school district making the kind of progress that we're making.
Well, when can patrons expect the district to be fully accredited?
I mean, my intention is to get there by the end of this year. We're getting ready to take our next round of assessments, and you know, we think that we've put a formula in place that will allow for us to continue to make the growth. But I do want our community to know that just getting accreditation, I mean, it's a great thing to get, but
But that's what patrons should expect of a school district, is it not?
yeah, well, I mean,
that's like a
right.
minimum
it's a
expectation.
Baseline. It's a baseline, right? We have a long ways to go, and I think we will celebrate, but our ultimate goal is that we want our kids competing at or above state average on proficient and advanced performance. We want them to compete at the national level on NAEP and ACT and AP and IB, and we're not going to stop until we get there, but it is about expectations. All of these kids can achieve, and I know some of our kids show up with variables that work against them, but they can be successful.
When you get there, come back and talk to us about it, all right?
Sure thing.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks
for coming in. That is Kansas City, Missouri School Superintendent Dr. Mark Bedell. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus!